well-crafted small garden design could be desirable to people for a number of reasons. First, the outdoor space suitable for being turned into a garden could be rather small. Alternatively, there could be plenty of outdoor space, but the person may not want to make a large garden. Also, if the garden space is set in an urban setting, there may only be a balcony or small patio available for a garden installation. Those are all good reasons to desire a small garden space, but designing one for those applications can be tricky. It takes forethought and careful planning to make a garden of this type really work. Here are a few small garden design ideas that anyone can use to get the most out of any space. First, a person needs to consider what the purpose of the garden is: decorative, functional, or hybrid. A decorative garden is one that focuses on plants that will have the largest visual impact per square foot, without any consideration for edible or in some other way functional plant. A functional garden, on the other hand, focuses on maximizing the yield per square foot of plants that can be eaten or used in some other productive manner, i.e. aloe vera for burns. Finally, a hybrid garden focuses on a cross between these two different concepts. It tries to produce a high yield of useful plants, while at the same time creating visual interest within the garden space. The most common garden type that people choose in this regard is a hybrid approach. For the purposes of this article, it is this style that will be the focus of the following small garden design ideas. The first concept that any person designing a small garden needs to understand is that raised beds always make for a more vigorous crop. Raised beds can be constructed in virtually any shape imaginable, so they are the perfect container for any small garden. For example, an urban gardener who only has a condo balcony to work with could build raised bed planters in the corners of the balcony and a long narrow one straight down the front parallel to the railing. This design creates a lot of growing space without taking away much of floor space on the balcony. Another very useful idea to keep in mind when building a small garden is that it can be constructed horizontally as well as vertically. For example, a wall or fence can easily be turned into a living wall by adding hanging planters or binding plants like grapes, hardy kiwi, or honeysuckle to it. Whatever style of garden is being constructed, one thing that is important to keep in mind is that in order to create a strong visual appeal, it is better to stagger plants of different heights and colors around one another. This creates texture and dimension to garden space that can make it seem larger than it really is. Building a garden is a tremendous amount of fun. By taking the small garden design ideas listed above and making them their own, a person will be able to build a visually interesting and useful garden that will impress all of their friends and family.